Hi everyone. Today we're summarizing the concepts of the 8th and 9th pairs of cranial nerves. The vestibulocochlear nerve, 8th cranial nerve, is a sensory nerve that transmits information related to hearing and balance from receptors located in the inner ear to the central nervous system. It originates from the pontomedullary sulcus and is divided into two functional components. The cochlear part, which carries sound impulses from the cochlea, within which a structure known as the spiral ganglion of Corti contains the cell bodies of auditory receptors, to the cochlear nuclei located between the pons and medulla, and finally to the primary auditory cortex in the temporal lobe. The vestibular part, which transmits information on head position and movement. The receptors in the vestibular apparatus of the inner ear have cell bodies located in Scarpa's ganglion. From the ganglion, the information travels to the vestibular nuclei and then to the cortical areas. Even though it is defined as a single cranial nerve, it actually consists of two components that originate as separate nerves and only join when they pass through the internal acoustic meatus of the temporal bone. But they separate again at the brainstem to transmit information to their respective nuclei. The vestibular system is responsible for the vestibulo-ocular reflex, which allows the eyes to automatically move in the opposite direction of head movement. This helps to maintain focus on an object even while the body is moving. The glossopharyngeal nerve, 9th cranial nerve, is a mixed nerve, sensory, motor, and autonomic, parasympathetic, that plays a key role in tongue and pharynx sensation, swallowing, and blood pressure regulation. It originates from the medulla oblongata. Most of its fibers pass through the jugular foramen to reach the superior and inferior glossopharyngeal ganglia, except for its tympanic branch, which passes through the tympanic canaliculus and carries parasympathetic fibers to the otic ganglion and motor fibers to the stylopharyngeus muscle. Motor component originates from the nucleus ambiguus, passes through the jugular foramen, and innervates the stylopharyngeus muscle. Special sensory component transmits taste sensation from the posterior third of the tongue and visceral sensory information from the carotid sinus and body. Regulation of blood pressure. These signals travel through the petrosal ganglion, pass through the jugular foramen, and terminate in the solitary tract nucleus. General sensory component originates from the receptors in the mucosa of the posterior third of the tongue, the pharynx, the palatine tonsil, and the middle ear. The information travels through the jugular ganglion, passes through the jugular foramen, and terminates in the spinal trigeminal nucleus. The parasympathetic component originates from the inferior salivatory nucleus. It does not pass through the jugular foramen, but rather through the tympanic canaliculus, makes a synapse in the otic ganglion, and the postganglionic fibers then reach the parotid gland.